Okay, so welcome to the Women's Health and Hormones class tonight. It's so glad I'm so pleased that you can all make it, and I really appreciate your support and you sharing. And the aim of the class tonight is to really um sort of have a bit of a deep dive into um hormone symptoms, and maybe some of the root causes of that could be an emotional um thing happening, or it could be physical, it could be excess in hormones, but we're going to sort of look at some of the common issues that we face as women, whether it's from the start of the cycle right through to menopause, and look at some of the emotional root causes, as well as some practical, holistic ways that we can support and balance those hormones again. So, I'm just going to start by sharing the slides with you. Feel free during this time to put anything in the chat that either is resonating with you, or some issues that you may have, whether it's privately in the chat or publicly, so we can all, if you feel comfortable, or save your questions if you want at the end. We'll try and answer them for you. Um, so one of the reasons I've done this class many times. I've even done it in front of about 30 NHS nurses, and that was scary. um, but what I wanted to do is rewrite it a little bit with a view to, because it was all physical, and I wanted to rewrite it because since then I've learned a lot more about the emotional causes of a lot of women's issues. So I wanted to sort of bring that in as well, because when you're talking about holistic health, it's not just what you eat, is it? It could be maybe your diet, but also it could be your lifestyle, but also it could be the stress that you're under, or it could be something that's happened in the past that keeps reoccurring, and that can cause a health problem as well. So that's why I wanted to sort of rejig it a little bit. But first of all, just as an overview, we just want to know, what are hormones in general? Well, we all have hormones, whether we're women or men, and there are chemical messengers. They go into our bloodstream, they travel, and they go to the relevant tissues or organs, and they affect every single thing: our growth and development, our metabolism, our sexual function, reproduction, and our mood. And when we're talking about the women's sort of hormone map, if you will, it's the endocrine system. So if you hear the word endocrine, it's a special group of cells that make up our pituitary, our pineal, thymus, thyroid, adrenal glands, and pancreas. And obviously, our uterus, our ovaries as well. And in men, obviously, it's the testes. Um, Hormones are so powerful that, they're what makes the human race carry on. So if we have a tiny amount of a change in our cells, it can affect our whole body, our whole hormonal landscape. That's why too much or too little of a certain hormone can be serious. So we want to get to the root causes of to what's going on. If we are off balance, what could it be? And we're going to have a look at a few pillars that we can maybe tick off and think, oh, I'm doing that right, but maybe I can tweak that. But first of all, before we go into that, when we're talking about anything that may be a therapeutic benefit to balancing our hormones, we're always talking about CPTG oils, which we believe are one of the earth, the most purest of the earth that we can find. And these are doTERRA oils. Um, this is the grade of oil that we use that determines its potency and efficiency, really. So they're sourced from where they naturally grow in the world, and it's the best environment for the plant to be at its optimum for growth. Um, and we believe that they're the safest, purest oils to use to support both the physical and emotional needs of our body. When you think of the chemical compounds found in sort of essential oils, pure essential oils we're talking about, then they are bioidentical to our body's natural chemistry. Because they're from the earth and we're from the earth, then we can definitely work symbiotically to balance our hormones. And essential oils, whether they're taken from a citrus fruit, from a herb, from a bark, they can really help in different ways to balance our body, and they have no side effects. That's what's great about this. So when we're using essential oils, the pure ones, we can be really confident that the body will take what it needs, and it will just help to do it some good wherever it's going to take it. But we know that from years past that there's certain essential oils that are really good for women's health, and we'll talk about that as well. So a few things that we're going to cover tonight is we're going to address some of the emotional issues behind certain body systems. We're going to talk about reducing our toxic load, nutrition and self-care, and supporting hormone balance and symptom support as well. Obviously, when we get to the end, if we're doing all that, generally the symptoms will be greatly reduced. So that's the plan, that's the goal. So looking at doing some research into sort of the root causes of things like women's problems, a lot of it can arise from conflicts regarding our upbringing, maybe our relationship with our mother, or our relationship with a child, or maybe we've suffered a trauma regarding children, or a partner, or a past partner, or anything like that. It's just really useful to go back to a point in time that was very, very dramatic for us, and really, when you talk about a conflict shock, these things are what can really stay in our body if we don't deal with them. And often the symptoms that maybe we may be facing are things that we maybe haven't dealt with at the moment. So it's good to have a look at how we're feeling and addressing these symptoms. And there's things that we can do with the oils that help us to sort of acknowledge our feelings and overcome it. And obviously, counseling and therapy for things that are really deep traumas would be useful. And this can really help us to really talk through this issue and overcome it. So that's some of the emotional things. Our womb is, it's known as the female heart. I'll just read a little bit about. I thought it was quite interesting. If anyone is interested in this kind of thing, this book called "The Body, Your Body Speaks Your Mind," so interesting, into every body system. It also agrees with when you think of the scriptures that, like rottenness to the bones and things that cause anger in your liver and things like that. It agrees with a lot of the scriptural thoughts for those that are lovers of the scriptures. And also, this one actually has quotations from the Bible. It's called "Feelings Buried Alive Never Die." And having compared all of the various books, they all sort of agree with the fact that the women's area is relating to these sort of conflicts with regards to maybe wanting children or not wanting children, having children, or any sort of family issue that could be from generations ago even. So it's quite interesting to think what's going on for you and maybe what's triggering. So it just says that the womb symbolizes the core of a woman's essence. It's where life originates. It's such a precious place when you think about it. If it wasn't for the womb, none of us would be here. So it's such a sacred place for us. But challenges can arise in the womb that can reflect our deepest emotions, typically if they're suppressed or overlooked. It could be grappling with being a woman, desires regarding motherhood, or unresolved conflicts toward your mother. It could be past mistreatment that we've faced, fears of being able to conceive a child, feelings of neglect, emotional deprivation, shame, resentment, hurt, loneliness. They're all linked to the womb. So I'm sure maybe that resonates with all of us, some of it, that we can sort of really dig deep and think of how we feel. So I want to talk about moving on to the physical symptoms that we may face. Things like irritability, low libido, it could be with excess facial hair. I know that's a symptom of polycystic ovary syndrome. Overproduction in breast cells, so maybe we get very painful breasts coming up to the onset of our period. Dryness, headaches, hot flushes, anxiety, sleep deprivation, migraines, all can be connected to hormone imbalances. Now, in a normal day, our body knows how to heal, and our hormones would work, in an ideal world, we have the perfect food, perfect life, no stress, our our hormones are working brilliantly. And if you can see there, these are hormones attaching to the cell and sending the correct signal to the correct places, saying, do this, do that. But when toxins can block the cell receptor, they can disrupt the communication, and that's where the imbalances come in. So we want to just sort of try and pinpoint these toxins or these disruptors and try and clean out as much as we can in our life. So then we can have we can clean up our hormones basically. So one of the things that is really, really sort of in this modern world, we have so many xenoestrogens in the body. And from experience of dealing with women for the past few years, the biggest problem is estrogen dominance. And it caused probably all the problems that you would probably list now of your issues would be estrogen dominance. And it's not a natural estrogen, it's fake estrogen. We call them xenoestrogens. These are synthetic compounds that mimic natural estrogens, and they cause overstimulation of normal bodily functions. Um, so you can see there, a natural estrogen would do its job and go to the intended place in the body. A xenoestrogen is a bit like an imposter. It's fake. Pretending to be something it's not, and then the cell doesn't know what to do, and it goes AWOL. One of the biggest, I would say, indicator of xenoestrogens in our modern society since maybe for the last, I don't know, 40 years would be, have you noticed more and more girls are getting their period earlier and earlier? More and more are getting menopause earlier, and overproduction of breast tissues in women and men. You noticed man boobs is a big thing, isn't it? And that could be various things in the water, but it also these xenoestrogens as well. Endometriosis, um, breast cancer, and all sorts of related issues could be xenoestrogens could be a cause. So, where do we find xenoestrogens and how do we avoid them? Well, xenoestrogens can be found in many things: plastics, certain farmed fish, medications, pesticides, basically everything that goes in our life every day. And everyday cleaning chemicals contain these xenoestrogens. So that's sort of on the cleaning and household side as well as food, but also what we put on our skin. So when you think of something that you put on your skin, I used to be so ignorant to this. I used to think, oh, it's on the skin, it won't do any harm, not realizing that anything on the skin can be absorbed into the bloodstream. And we know our hormones are in our bloodstream and it can knock it off balance. And I suppose when a girl reaches sort of that age, they start to maybe use more cosmetics, don't they? And these xenoestrogens are entering the bloodstream and that's kicking off. And often they have really bad periods, don't they? So it's quite shocking, isn't it, that a woman on average puts 168 chemicals on their bodies every day. Um, and a lot of these can really cause issues, the endocrine disruptors, things like deodorants. I think that's probably for me the worst thing, spraying deodorant because it's so close to our lymph nodes and it's our detoxification method. So it's our way of sweating out our toxins. And if we're covering it over with a deodorant that's full of extra things that are blocking our body's ability to detox, then if you can think of anything to get rid of, deodorant would be the first one to switch to a natural deodorant without all the chemicals and aluminium. But yeah, there's a lot we can do to switch out. And you may think, oh well, I have natural makeup, natural skincare, I make my own green cleaning sprays. All my shampoo and conditioner is doTERRA's or Tropics or any other green company that you decide to use, then that's absolutely fantastic. But if you were like me, I had all the nasty stuff in the house. I had all the cleaning stuff. I had all the things that were just full of, perfume as well, that were full of synthetic endocrine disrupting fragrances. It can be quite overwhelming to think, how on earth do I clean up this? But yeah, you can start slowly, and a lot of products you can make your own as well. So you can do some simple swaps. doTERRA do have a great skincare and personal care products that are clean and don't contain any of these gender bending substances. But there's a lot of recipes that you can make your own creams and DIY things, as well as yeah, there's all sorts of things. And for those that maybe like to fragrance their home, um, I think all of you are generally quite a for people that I've met so far, they're quite into natural things. But for those that maybe put plugins in or spray air fresheners, if you can swap that with a beautiful diffuser with some certified pure essential oils, that's only going to do you good. It's not going to do you any harm. Think of the family that are breathing in these chemicals that's entering the lungs and it's entering the bloodstream. It can cause headaches. Think, but breathing in these chemicals, it can cause breathing problems. It can exaggerate asthma in children and parents as well. So, you know, getting a diffuser and using essential oils to scent your home would be a great start, and switching to things that go on your skin that are as clean as possible would be a great start. That would reduce your toxic load significantly, and then there's less xenoestrogens. I know we can't take away xenoestrogens completely from this world, but we can do our best to use as natural as possible. So when we look at our hormone lifespan, right from when we started our menstrual cycle, you can see the estrogen levels there. It's quite balanced as we go through our cycle. But then as we get to perimenopause, which is anything from 37 onwards, and you can see the estrogen spiking and dipping there. And that can cause real problems. Generally, what we find is we have, as we mentioned, too much estrogen and too little progesterone, which causes to be estrogen dominant. One of the reasons that we have too little progesterone can often be our highly stressed lifestyle, um, because I think, is it cortisol can take over and sort of rob us of progesterone because we're living in this high state of stress all the time. So we want to really examine our life as well. Are we rushing around all the time? You know, do we have time to even sit and think? Are we living off caffeine? All these can really worsen our symptoms. When we think of progesterone, it's a calming, balancing hormone. So we really want to hold on to progesterone, the naturally occurring progesterone, as much as we can. Okay. So I'll just pass that by, but I just want to say that with it being an essential oil company, and you know that the purists that we've known about, we do have a supplement range which is like by far the biggest selling product, and it contain all the things that our body needs. Maybe we're feeling a bit low on vitamins and minerals, maybe we're not, our diet is not brilliant, but even if it is good, we may feel like we want to supplement our diet with extra things, and the Lifelong Vitality Pack contains everything that we need. But the difference with this compared to maybe things that I've bought from the health food shop is I didn't realize they were synthetically ground rocks, minerals that wasn't absorbed by the body. They used to take it and then out straight out in the toilet, expensive way basically. So when you're looking at a vitamin and mineral, maybe you want to reset yourself, think, well, I really want to look after myself. I'm going to start with a good supplement range. This would be a great place to start because it's basically whole food vitamins and minerals. They're bioavailable. They're made from ground sprouts, broccoli, kale, spirulina, all the things that you would want to get together in this pack. And they really can help with our hormone balance because they can help with our bone health, bone density, help with, it's got antioxidants and it's got tummy taming blends. It's got everything we need for the sort of the women's herbal extracts as well. So really good to support a healthy metabolism. And if you don't feel any different, then you get your money back. There's a 30-day money back guarantee as well. So doTERRA are that sort of confident that these will make you feel different energy wise. We had somebody who took these and she had chronic fatigue. She was basically on the settee a lot, and all of a sudden after a few weeks of this kicking in, she started to mow the lawn, and the husband's like, they usually had a gardener. Husband was shocked, so she's kept on these ever since. They've really been life changing for her. So moving on, I want to talk about some things that we can naturally do to help to support our hormone balance. And there's a women's health kit. These can be obtained separately, but I'll sort of deep dive into each one of these just to show you what they can do. You've probably heard of Clarisage for women's health issues, and Claricalm is a blend of um, quite a few essential oils that can really support women's hormones, whether you're 12 years old or 62 years old. They're just going to help to balance the body. So we'll talk about that in a second, but this is the health kit as a trio that can be bought. And it's a really good way of using an essential oil topically daily. So you'd use the Claricalm on your pulse points, on your ankles where the uterus reflex points are. Phytoestrogen, we'll talk about that, but that's a supplement that I personally take every day, and I feel the difference if I don't take it. And we'll talk about the need for bone nutrients. So if you're not getting a supplement to support your bone density, then that would be a really good thing to do at this point, because we are prone to more like hip fractures and hip replacements as women. And one of the reasons is because our natural estrogen is declining. So our bone density um, is lessened over time. So the Claricalm, just a bit of a summary of what's in it. So we've got clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, ylang-ylang, geranium, fennel, carrot seed, palmarosa, and vitex. Vitex at the bottom there, it's a herb that's considered bioidentical to phytoestrogens, but also vitex is very similar to helping with progesterone production as well. And then we've got basically all these oils have been studied for the various ways that they can support the women's hormones, whether it's helping to cleanse the liver, or calming or antispasmodic. So whether we're going through, maybe we've just started a period day one and we're feeling really uncomfortable, Claricalm rolled over the lower abdomen with a hot water bottle over the top, really soothing. But this is a long-term thing. This is something that you'd be using every day, daily, to get it into your system, ready for the next cycle. Or if you're not having a cycle, it doesn't matter if you're menopausal, it's still going to balance those excesses. So the hot flushes will greatly reduce. But it's something that you would have to do, with anything, give it 3 months and see how you feel. I can speak from experience and from those that I've helped with this. You really have to stick at it, and then you think, oh wow, come the next cycle or the next cycle after that, you think, that was a surprise. I didn't have any symptoms, and it's really amazing. So there's some of the ways that you can use it, but I would definitely say use it every day and then use it more on those days that you feel like you need more support. Also, I found interesting that we need lots of fat in our diet, lots of good fat, and often women of this age or any age are often on low fat diets, which is so bad now. We didn't realize, everyone's like, cut out the fat, it's good for you. But actually, that can cause a lot of migraines because our body needs fat to function. And avocados contain good cholesterol and good fat, which is actually a precursor to progesterone. So if there's no fat, we can't produce enough progesterone. So really important to get what we need in the form of walnuts, avocados, or a similar fat from food. Yeah, so Vitex was interesting. I didn't really know much about Vitex, but it can help promote the production of progesterone. And this is what we need. And then a constituent of Vitex interacts with our dopamine receptors, and it affects our overall health of our whole endocrine system. So each herbal extract and essential oil in Claricalm has been specifically picked for what it can do. It's absolutely amazing. Buy all these it altogether separately would be a lot of money. So they've been it's known as like the women's savior blend. Yeah, that's it. So just a bit of a recap. There's 3 different types of estrogen. We've talked about naturally occurring estrogen, which helps our body function the way it should. And we've talked about xenoestrogens, which are these synthetic man-made estrogens from toxins, chemicals, cleaning products, things like that. And then we haven't mentioned much about phytoestrogens, but phytoestrogens can actually help us um, in our body to detox. So we're going to look at that. But the one that causes the most problems is the xenoestrogens. So this is what we want to try and reduce so we can help these function better. So what are phytoestrogens? Because a lot of people get confused. I was confused at first thinking, is this going to put more estrogen in my body? Well, that's not the case. If you just think of phytoestrogen, it's fighting the fake estrogen in your body. So phytoestrogens help block the bad estrogens. They're not added anymore, and they can help bring the body back in balance. The naturally occurring plant compounds, you can find it in food, and you can add these foods to your diet as well. But yeah, it can really help to gently detoxify the body of these synthetic estrogens. So you would take one a day. You can take it from, young people can take it right up to past menopause. They say sort of menopausal women should take two a day, increase it. And often you'll find that when you do take this, the start of it, you'll get some detoxification symptoms. I found lots of ladies with spots around the chin area, which we know is around our sort of hormonal part of our face, um, where the uterus is. So if you get that, that's a good sign. It's got to come out somehow. So it could be that you find some uncomfortable symptoms, but just keep going with it and just slowly. You might want to introduce one every other day and then build up to one a day. Just introduce it to the body and see how you get on. So natural phytoestrogens can be found in these foods. So these be good to add to our diet as well to increase our natural phytoestrogens. And then I just want to quickly talk about the bone nutrient complex. And we talked about the decline in bone density from sort of perimenopause, and that increases osteoporosis and things like that. So it's really important we get a good supplement, and this contains both vitamin D2 and D3, and calcium, and we know calcium doesn't work without vitamin D. Magnesium's great for helping to calm the body. So bone nutrient towards the night time would be good for helping with restless legs as well. And it's just a really good supplement to take and relatively cost effective as well. For even teenage boys can take this, because I give this to my son, because often, even though he's trying to be good with his food, often children have rubbish diets. They eat a lot of junk. And in the formative years when they're growing, you want their bones to be strong and healthy. So you want to make sure they're getting enough nutrients. So bone nutrient for anyone, women or men. It's, even though it says doTERRA women, it's for men as well. It does say that on the instruction. So don't be alarmed. Um, so I just want to talk about essential oils, as in our general. So generally, what we tend to advise people to start with is the 10 core oils, because these have everything we need for our general health and wellness. They can help with detoxification. Think of the lemon. That's great for our liver support. Frankincense is great for our cellular health and to help with our hormones. So things like frankincense and lavender would be really good for supporting, for calming, for sleep. Peppermint's great for hot flushes. And Zengest is our tummy tamer blend. So this sort of 10 core oil kit can be a great start in getting comfortable with using the oils, and it comes with training and getting familiar with all the lovely ways we can use it. And this is a great way to help just to support our household as well. So we've got all the oils that we need for a diffuser, loads of beautiful diffuser blends that we can make with these 10 oils as well. And this can really start to sort of detoxify what we're using as well, because it's a family first aid kit. So we don't have the need for, more products that you buy from the pharmacy that you maybe don't want to take too many paracetamol. So we find things like the deep blue, the peppermint in the kit, and frankincense are great for headache. And often we don't see the need for the medication as much. So it's a great start. But there are some other things as well that can support our hormones. And you probably know these oils most popular. I know midwives, they still use clary sage in the maternity unit to help with women who are giving birth. So it's not recommended for pregnant women because it actually can help to start with the not the cramps, what's the word? It'll come to me, the pregnant pangs, birth pangs. So what it can do is throughout our cycle, ease menstrual cramps and relax the muscles. It can help decrease the body's cortisol levels. So really relaxing. So great for birth as well as PMS. And it's also good for the brain, is clary sage. You can even take clary sage internally in a capsule if you wish. Obviously, lavender we know is great for supporting with stress and helping to rebalance hormones. We've got Lang Lang. We know it's in the clary calm, some of these, but this is a great one. It's good for boosting libido, and also it's good for the heart. So it's good for our circulatory system as well. Geranium is quite an interesting one. This really helps us to detoxify our liver, gallbladder, areas like that that may need some support. And obviously frankincense we know just does everything. So if in doubt, use frankincense on a daily basis and see how your cells thank you. And here's some really good recipes. If you have any of these oils, you can sort of make the brain fog begone roller, stress relief roller with lavender, frankincense, and wild orange. So great to take with you wherever you go. There's a Superwoman blend, but when you think of all these, sometimes it's probably just worth getting the Claricam. That would do a similar, very similar thing. And you can use these to support your hormones throughout the months. Yeah, I'm just gonna flick through to the next one. There we go. Just yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we've talked about from the beginning and some of the things that have really helped me personally with my sort of hormone balance. Um, if we are struggling with emotional issues that you think are connected to your hormone balance or certain issues, whether it's endometriosis or any sort of issues, fibroids, it could be that we maybe need to go on a bit of a journey. And one of the things that's really helpful for that is the Forgive blend. Um, it can really help give us an emotional release of things that are maybe stuck, and give us a bit of an emotional detox. Forgive is a great place to start. And you may think, oh, I don't need to forgive anyone, but it's not just for that. It's helping to just release anything that we no longer need in our lives. So let go of bitterness, hostilities, and what it's got in it is black spruce, bergamot, juniper berry, myrrh, thyme, citronella, and some of the other tree oils. And it's for emotional stagnation. So I scanned somebody with a little device that is similar to like a resonance device, and it came up with Forgive for hormone balance. But when we looked into it, it says emotional stagnation and things like that. So it was a sign that she was holding on to maybe some things that she needs to let go of. So I would suggest if anyone is struggling with any issue, and we've supported a lot of women with the Forgive oil on an emotional level, use Forgive for 2 or 3 weeks. And all you would do is roll it on your hands or put a drop on your hands and inhale, do some big deep inhalations. You can diffuse it, but use it, say, 2 to 3 times a day for about 3 weeks and see how those memories or those experiences that you feel, see how they are at the end of the 3 weeks. We've had some lovely testimonials of people saying it was no longer hurtful anymore. They felt freer, they felt more relaxed, and that can help us to move on and process things. So that's for the emotional detox. But maybe we feel like we're overloaded with toxins and things like that. Maybe we've had more alcohol than they wanted to take. So Zendocrine is a blend to help to detoxify the liver and kidneys. And if you notice, Zendocrine is endocrine in there, so it could help our whole hormonal system by detoxifying things that are lurking. So you could use Zendocrine either, you can use it in a capsule, you can make a detox drink, a warm drink with a drop or two. You can make a detox bath with Zendocrine and help it come out your pores. It's great for heavy metal detox and things like that. So it's like two ways to detox. Geranium's really good to support people who face trauma, and it's just a really nurturing oil to use, but it's in the Clary Calm. Whisper if we feel we're too sort of masculine, maybe we feel we're too dominant, domineering, and we need to be more feminine and in touch with our femininity. Whisper might be the one for you. But I would say everyone needs Clary Calm because it just supports so many things. And obviously clary sage is the neat oil without the other oils in it. So you might just want to go just clary sage, and that would be supportive as well. So those are a few oils that I've sort of selected that have really helped us from experience. So what I'll do now is I'll just stop sharing. There we go. Yeah, and I will stop recording and open it up to any questions.